William Afton is a pretty bad dude, even by real world standards, not just FNAF. However, this doesn't mean that he's the only villain in nearly a 10-game series. So, what other baddies are gonna make you sweat just as bad or maybe even worse? That's what we're exploring today. Let's do it. In 10, Phone Guy. While in the end the phone guy wasn't the killer, he still isn't very helpful in the long run considering how he says we aren't really gonna get killed. Well, okay, look, he warns us to be careful, but he doesn't really say, oh yeah, you'll die. I don't like him, okay? He should have done more than just say be careful, it's trial and error, which is in essence what he said. Because honestly, after surviving this job for so long, you'd think that whoever this phone guy is would have some goddamn tips on how not to die, but he just gives us the freaking company history. Bro, I don't care if one of the animatronics bit someone, okay? They're trying to actually kill me. What do I do? Like, someone's head got bit 5 years ago, okay? I don't care. They're trying to eat my brain, okay? My Prada's at the cleaners along with my hoodie and my animatronic flip-flops, you pretentious phone guy, okay? Why don't you come and keep this job so that I don't have to put my life at risk, huh? I don't care if you're dead. Come on, you stupid mother. And at 9, Michael Afton. Now, while Michael Afton is seen as the hero of the story, trying to shut down William's criminal spree despite being his child and whatnot, in my eyes, Michael is also a villain because this kid is the reason there is a FNAF story to begin with, okay? Look, if this kid had just offed himself or ended up dying like his siblings, nobody would have been around to tell the story of the Aftons. We don't even know if Henry would have been trying to stop William without Michael bringing attention to it, okay? And considering how this channel has made over 400 FNAF videos at this current moment, those are all because Michael Afton just had to keep on kicking instead of kicking the bucket. We've made over 400 FNAF videos total, but in rough estimates, currently I've posted around 300 of those, which is actually insane and honestly scary as hell. And all of this because Michael just had to chase dear old dad and try to ruin him. If you put that effort into becoming like the CEO of Fazbear Entertainment once your father disappeared, maybe you could have done more good, okay? Afton would have been stuck in Fazbear Frights' room forever, and you could have stopped the company at its roots and then turned it into something maybe more productive. And it ain't Glamrock Freddy. This is another character that is intended to be a friendly one but ends up doing more harm than good. The existence of Glamrock Freddy in Security Breach is a good thing. He serves as your protector and is the first really friendly animatronic in the games, but he makes himself a villain in my eyes just by being stupid. He could have just left Gregory in his stomach cavity and then gone about the night and kept him safe until it was 6 a.m. But instead, he makes me go through this whole damn pointless goose chase just for the doors to reopen at 6 a.m. again. Why couldn't I have just chilled in his green room, okay? The curtains were closed, Vanessa and Vanny didn't know where I was. Realistically, I should have just stayed in there until 6 a.m. and then I could have made a break for the doors. I didn't get out any faster by doing this, like Freddy said I would. Like, for game purposes, you have to go through this in order for time to progress, but if I had just chilled in Freddy's green room, technically I could have waited until 6 and I'd be fine. Like, that's what should have happened. And since it didn't, Glamrock Freddy is a villain. And at 7, Fazbear Entertainment. I think arguably the biggest villain in the entirety of FNAF isn't even William, but rather Fazbear Entertainment. If we want to go like cause and effect, yes, William created Fazbear Entertainment. However, this company has gone on to do plenty of messed up things without him. Fazbear's Fright, reopening however many times they have, even though people are constantly killed at their locations. I'm sure plenty of other corporate crime as well, like espionage and fraud. Oh, and the entirety of FNAF AR, since they're intentionally sending out animatronics that they know are messed up to families all over the world. One of the higher ups of the company is still working for Afton, as we learned from Security Breach's lore baskets, since someone very influential at the company recommended Vanessa for security guard, despite her having no prior experience. And I mean, come on, someone had to pull the strings to build on where the FNAF 6 pizzeria was. So, in my eyes, the biggest villain is Fazbear Entertainment in general. However, this isn't a biggest villains list, it's the scariest villains list, so they're only number 7. And at 6, Ennard. While certainly creepy as a Ennard isn't all that scary in my opinion. He's certainly scary looking, but as a villain, all Ennard wants to do is escape. And once they do, and your flesh suit draws too much attention, they bail. Their only crime really is hijacking your body without your consent. But other than that, they don't really seem to do anything major. Baby ends up separating from them before they do anything crazy, and after Sister Location, the next time we see them is in Pizzeria Simulator, and between those two games, they seemingly don't have any kills under their belt. Why they wanted to escape only to later not do anything is one question, but in reality, since they don't do anything, we're really safe around them. Well, until they start trying to kill us in Pizzeria Simulator, but honestly, they didn't want us dead in sister locations, so I think that they're pretty chill. However, there is the possibility of them being filled with the remnant of the original Missing Children animatronics, but that's in the novels, so there's no way of proving that this is truly the case with the games. Halfway through into number 5, the Blob. The Blob is a massive sized proportion of wire, tentacles, and animatronic parts with possession of many glowing red eyes, because of course it does. The Blob's main head has a mask identical to that of Funtime Freddy instead of Molten Freddy, with black eyes and pinkish red glowing pupils, and the endo face reveals to have metal plates rather than wired tubes as well, which is also confusing. Their body has a large black mass made of tentacle wires, and it appears to be a larger version of Molten Freddy after the Pizzeria Simulator fire, but again, it's Funtime Freddy's face, which doesn't make sense. It's also far more grotesque and mixed with parts of other animatronics and endoskeletons. If you look closely, you can see older animatronics like Circus Baby, Puppet, Chica, Mangle, Bonnie, several Endo Mark IIs, and probably many others on the actual inside. However, this dude thing is creepy as all living hell, and while I haven't done much since they haven't been in the series much, I still don't like them. Currently, all they've really done is either kill Gregory or potentially save William. Some people like to believe that the Blob killed William, but I'm only going to be certain that he's dead when he dies on screen. So the Blob pulling Afton away from a fire that he could have just left him at and let the bastard burn makes them a villain in my eyes. Also, we know that they're meant to be evil. It just looks like a giant black Freddy flubber booger. And at 4, Scott Cawthon. Now, I could say that Scott Cawthon is the villain because he made the series and continued it after he originally intended to end it, and thus caused me to have to talk about these theories for 8 hours a day, at least 5 days a week. However, this can get even more meta than that. I could say that Scott Cawthon in-universe made FNAF games, which also helped to contribute to Fazbear Entertainment coming back and reopening yet again with the Pizzaplex. But again, I can get even more meta than that, believe it or not, because way deep in the infamous FNAF World game, Scott Cawthon is the final boss, or at least his avatar is. And you know what? I think that deserves number 4. Anim Dude, otherwise known as Scott Cawthon, the storyteller or Omega Scott in the game files, or the Puppet Master by 8-Bit Fredbear, is the main antagonist and final boss of FNAF World. He can only be fought in hard mode, after beating security and entering the tent afterwards. His appearance is a 3-dimensional representation of Scott Cawthon's icon avatar, which originally came from one of his previous games called There Is No Pause Button. But either way, he was the main antagonist of FNAF World, so it counts. Getting close to the end, and at number 3, Charlotte. Charlotte Emily, otherwise known as Charlie, is the main protagonist of the novels Five Nights at Freddy's The Silver Eyes and The Twisted Ones, and the secondary protagonist of The Fourth Closet. In The Silver Eyes, Charlotte is described to be a teenage girl with a round face and rosy cheeks, with brown wide eyes that glisten, and frizzy light brown hair. She wears a white t-shirt, black jeans, combat boots, and denim jacket, and it always looks like she's about to smile, somehow. And despite her sweetness and kind personality, she likes to be independent, and she doesn't actually get captured by William, but it's a long story, okay? In the books, she's actually the one who kinda killed William in the Spring Bonnie suit, even though I guess now we know that he didn't actually die in that suit, but she also finds it hard to trust people. However, what makes her a villain isn't her trust issues, it's actually because unbeknownst to her, she is an animatronic robot that was meant to replace the daughter that Henry had lost. But it's also revealed that the animatronic is also the baby animatronic that we know and love, who can switch between her forms at will. And the human version of the animatronic doesn't remember being baby. This human animatronic also looks a lot like an actual human. It can even bleed. So yeah, Charlotte in the books is also baby. That's pretty damn freaky. Penultimately, in at number 2, Gregory. Gregory is a villain and a criminal mastermind no matter what you people tell me in the comments. You can justify it all you want. He's still committed multiple crimes against Utah and its people, including murder, if you go by the phaser blast ending where Gregory orders robots to disassemble Vanny, like I explained in a previous video. Link to the Is Gregory a Criminal video in the iCard, whatever side it's on. But seriously, the crimes this guy commits within only what we see in the game is insane. Stealing, trespassing, destruction of property, grand larceny for stealing Freddy, and like I said, if you pick the phaser blast ending, Gregory Gregory kills Vanny. And it's not like he could claim self-defense, given that he actually chose to confront her instead of leaving, which can confirm premeditation, frankly. And he uses way too much force to justify self-defense. Whether you like it or not, Gregory is a criminal and a villain and deserves to be in prison, no way around that. And people are justifying this, okay? And the people who do, you need some form of therapy, just like Gregory and Vanessa were getting. Just like, come on, think about it. Gregory is a horrible person, and he could have just chilled with Freddy and been fine, but he went out of his way to destroy the animatronics, even paraphrasing the Joker when talking about them, omitting the swear word for you get what you deserve. Finally, in at number 1, Baby. Originally known as Elizabeth Afton when she was alive, Circus Baby is the primary antagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. The soul of William Afton's daughter resides within her, alongside Baby's own consciousness. In FNAF 5, she removes her endoskeleton from her costume, and her fellow animatronics end up combining to create Ennard. So, she's already been on this list in the form of Ennard, and not only that, but she's also the reason Ennard was seemingly so brutal. Plus, she was also on this list because of Charlotte. However, that's the books. In the games, she pretends to be our friend the whole time in sister location, keeping us alive so that we would trust her, only to get tricked into going to the scooping room, where she could then forcefully enter our body and escape. Like top 10 anime betrayals, and Baby is at the top of this list. It's like she pretended to be our friend for the whole season of the show, but in the second last episode she's revealed to be the villain. Not to mention the various versions that she has in FNAF AR, like Broiler and Heartsick Baby. No thank you, sir. And those goddamn plush babies are just as bad, and they're goddamn plushies. Baby is the scariest FNAF villain that isn't Afton, and that's why she's tops this list. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.